Kombucha, kombucha, kombucha. What is kombucha? And is it healthy? And if so, what are the health benefits? And is there anyone that shouldn't be drinking it? Well, sit back and enjoy the next few minutes of kombucha information heaven, because I'm going to tell you all about it and answer those questions. Let's start with, what is kombucha? Well, kombucha is a fermented tea drink. That's easy. Just remember it like that. To understand if it's healthy or not, you have to understand about the idea of fermentation. Fermentation has been around and healing people for thousands of years. That should tell you a lot. But the reason it came into existence was before the days of refrigeration, because in order to ferment foods, you need to leave them out at room temperature. Fermentation is a simple process. The bacteria and yeast that are left out at room temperature in the food begin to eat the sugar, and then they multiply. And when they multiply and continue eating the sugar, they produce this gas, which in kombucha lends to that delicious carbonated, fizzy, oh my God, great flavor. But in other fermented foods, such as our sourdough starter, it produces big gassy bubbles that helps our starter rise, which helps leaven our bread into this big rise. It's really like God's miracle food. Fermentation is so fun to do and so fun to learn, and it's so easy and cost effective. So I highly recommend that all of you try, whether it's sourdough bread or kombucha or fermenting your veggies or whatever. It's super healthy. And speaking of healthy, let's get in to talk about the health benefits. Well, one of the main ingredients is black tea, and tea is filled with antioxidants and polyphenols, and those are great for anti-aging, heart prevention problems, and even cancer. So anytime you're going to use something with black tea, you're going to get those benefits of the polyphenols and the antioxidants. The next benefit is the obvious one. You're going to be flooding the body with good bacteria and yeast. And you know how many people take probiotics? Well, this is like probiotics in a delicious drink. This is a fantastic way on an everyday basis to fill your body with those good biotics, what we call pro and prebiotics, that are very necessary for good health. And when you're filling the body with good bacteria and yeast, then you're not only going to have better gut health, but better lung health, better everything health. Another great benefit of kombucha is it really can help people with type 2 diabetes. First of all, it gives them a drink that is not loaded with sugar. Many people that are diabetic are drinking diet sodas. Those are empty foods with no nutrients and garbage. And then if they were to drink a regular soda or a lemonade, you have to pack that with sugar. But kombucha is not only fermented, so they're going to get the benefits from their diabetes of adding all those good biotics to their body, but they're also going to have a low sugar and delicious drink. And the antioxidants in the black tea help support the pancreas, which is perfect for the diabetic. And you know the acids that the bacteria produce? Well, they're like in vinegar, acetic acid, and that helps support the liver. And anytime you can support the liver, you are really helping a diabetic, whether it's type 1 or 2, but especially type 2. They need help with their liver because so much of type 2 diabetes has to do with what's going on in the liver. And I forgot to mention that kombucha is really high in B vitamins, and B vitamins are what we need for stress. And who doesn't need that today? Okay, so we said it helps support gut health, it helps prevent cardiovascular problems and even cancer, it helps our lung health, it's high in vitamin B, it helps manage type 2 diabetes, it's high in acetic acid, which is great to support the liver, which helps so many other health conditions. So can you see what I mean? Drinking kombucha every day is, to me, a health food. It's low in sugar and high in vitamins and high in good probiotics. You can't go wrong. So is there anybody that shouldn't be drinking kombucha? Well, the answer is yes. If you have candida, which is a condition where you have a yeast overgrowth, I would not recommend doing anything and putting more biotics. Even though they're good biotics, it's probably something I would lay off of, or try it and see how you do. Don't just do it assuming you're going to get better. Try it. Another condition I'd be careful with, if you had Crohn's disease or some kind of inflammatory bowel disease, you may heal your gut with kombucha, but I would go very slowly because everybody's different, and see how your body handles it and if you can handle it. And some people that were alcoholics in the past don't want to drink kombucha because if you let it ferment too long, there's a little bit of alcohol in it. But some people are just wanting to stay away from all alcohol once they've had a problem with alcohol. And if you're one of those people, then I would avoid it. And lastly, and this one's controversial to me, if you're highly sensitive to caffeine, then you may be someone that doesn't feel well on kombucha. However, when I first started drinking kombucha 20 years ago, I used to call every company of the kombuchas that I purchased, and I asked them, can you tell me how much caffeine is in there? Because I couldn't do a lot of caffeine. And most of the companies would tell me by the time the fermentation process is over, there's very little, if any, of caffeine in the drink. So I don't know, that one's all over the map. I never feel caffeinated when I drink kombucha. If you're highly sensitive and you feel it's giving you a caffeine boost and you don't want to do that, then you should stay away from it. But those are the only conditions or people that I think should avoid kombucha. And if you're not in one of those categories, then you need to start drinking kombucha. It's filled with those probiotics and prebiotics that are so good for our gut and our health. It's high in nutrition, it's high in vitamin B's, it's low in sugar, it helps support our liver, it helps support our pancreas, it helps type 2 diabetes, it helps prevent cancer and heart disease. Can you think of any reasons not to try it? I can't. And if you make it yourself, it's such a creative, fun hobby because you can really create millions of flavors. You can add things like lavender and rose and all kinds of cool flower flavors, or you can add fruit or fruit juices or veggie juices or turmeric and ginger. It's so delicious. And lastly, if you're new to kombucha and you're really interested in making your own, then you should pick up this book. It's one of the best books I ever read on kombucha. Look, it's called The Big Book of Kombucha, and it's big, but it's so fantastic. And I'm going to be sharing a lot of recipes of what you can do with your leftover, what's called the SCOBY, which is the yeast bacteria that's formed on the top of your tea. There's a lot of things you can do, but this book has recipes and all the instructions, but you can learn that from my video, and I'm going to do a lot of things. But if you really get into it, this is the best book that I ever found. And you're just going to need a few simple supplies like tea, sugar, 2 jars, and some bottles. These are the best kind, but if you don't have those, you can use just some of your mason jars or even an old kombucha bottle from one that you bought in the store and just refill it. It's super easy and you're gonna love it. Be sure to watch my how-to video series I did on kombucha so you can learn all of that and more. But for now, I just want to say thank you to everyone that's subscribing. I so appreciate each and every one of you guys, and I'll see you next time.